vying for your attention. And I'm gonna tell you, and I think you probably know it, even if you don't recognize it, but it is a lot of garbage. There's a lot of trash, and I don't mean to be negative, but there is
You're not wrong. Yeah.
There's a lot of bad information out there,
Yeah.
and I have family members who consume that, and they tell me about it, and I'm thinking to myself, that cannot be right.
Yeah.
And then I turn on public radio, and there's a story about it, and they're explaining why that is false information. That is bad information.
Yeah, right on.
People are spreading misinformation, but you want your facts and you want to know what's really going on. And that's why you turn to your public radio station. And I think Sean said it, but the number one reason why we can provide this service for you that is fact-based is because it is listener-supported. And it's good to remind people, listener support is the single largest source of WNYC's funding. It is not possible without you. So do your part. If you value this good information, this reliable information, these good sources of information, then you need to make a contribution. You have to contribute. That's just all there is to it. The drive ends on Friday, no matter what, and we need the funding to keep it going. So do your part. Support WNYC so we can help you wade through all the noise. 888-376-9692 or give online at WNYC.org.
I'm LaFontaine Oliver, President and CEO of New York Public Radio. Right now, WNYC needs your help. Journalism across the country is facing serious financial pressures, and we are not immune. These are challenging times, but we will get through them thanks to our community of listeners. Please support WNYC during this All the Money in Half the Time pledge drive. Go to WNYC.org or call 888-376-WNYC.
I'm going to give it to you straight. As we've been saying, we are behind where we need to be in this All the Money Half the Time pledge drive, significantly behind where we need to be. That said, we still are going to end this drive on Friday because that was our promise to you. It's more important that you get the critical information that you're here for 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks before an election. We will end the drive on Friday. We're not going to change that, but that means that we have a lot of work to do to get to where we need to go. So we are relying on you right now. Be like Gwendolyn in Brooklyn, who just donated and wrote, and we should say, leave comments when you contribute because we'd love to see them. But Gwendolyn said, during the election season, I would be in full meltdown without WNYC. Thank you, Gwendolyn, for both your contribution and your comment. Be like Gwendolyn, don't melt down, but think about what it would be like if WNYC were not here in an election season to give you fact-based, sober journalism so that you're informed when you go to the polls. Think about that for a second and then contribute to WNYC. Put a dollar amount to that and then call because, again, we are behind, but we're going to get there one contribution at a time. 888-376-9692 or WNYC.org.
And I think the best antidote to a meltdown mode is information, analysis, good, reliable information. Think about On the Media every week that's really just injecting facts and information into the world. That is only made possible by listener support. You expect that reporting and analysis that goes beyond the headlines, digs into the substance of the issues. On the Media is a beacon of that. Brian Lehrer is a beacon of that. And WNYC's live national election call-in series, America, Are We Ready? Is a beacon of that. It starts at 8 p.m. tonight. And on tonight's episode, Brian Lehrer and host Kimberly Adams of Marketplace are going to look at the presidential candidates. So tune in for that, WNYC.org.
WNYC is supported by the Joyce Theater, presenting an evening with Sergio Bernal, featuring ballet and flamenco with live music, October 23rd through 27th. Tickets at joyce.org/WNYC.
This is WNYC 93.9 FM and AM 820, NPR News and the New York Conversation.
Marketplace is supported by the Full-Time Plus Flex MBA program at Indiana University's Kelley School, the only 2-year program of its kind. More at go.iu.edu/KelleyFlex.
Sometimes with the economy, what you need is a really good explainer. We got you covered. From American Public Media, this is Marketplace.
Marketplace is supported by Rubrik, When cyber attacks put businesses at risk, Rubrik provides the power to bounce back fast. More at Rubrik.com. And by Betterment, an automated investing platform that helps make it easy to invest. Learn more at Betterment.com. Investing involves risk. And by Odoo, designed to save time on business management with one simple user-friendly software. ODOO.com. Everything any business will ever need.
In Los Angeles, I'm Kai Rizdal. It is Wednesday today. This one is the 23rd of October. Good as always to have you along, everybody. It is way too easy for people who spend way too much time on, in, or covering economic policy, present company, unfortunately sometimes included, to forget that for regular people who don't live and breathe this stuff, it can all be a little opaque. Like, the Fed cut interest rates, fine, but what does that actually, mean? So we called Marketplace's Mitchell Hartman the other day and said, hey, Mitchell, would you make it all make sense, please?
The Federal Reserve has two basic goals, what's called its dual mandate, legislated by Congress, to pursue stable prices and maximum employment. And it's mostly been questing after the first one, keeping interest rates high to bring inflation under control. But this summer, cracks started to appear in the second Fed mandate to make sure as many people as possible have jobs, says former Fed economist Claudia Sahm, now at New Century Advisors.
Unemployment started creeping up. It started to get harder to find jobs. But what we've seen is just some reluctance to go out and hire new workers.
And that's where the Fed starting to lower interest rates can help, making it cheaper for firms to borrow and invest in their businesses.
For the Fed, by making that investment path less expensive, that could get an employer over the hump of saying, okay, well, I'll go ahead and hire 2 more workers.
But in real economic life, this is not instant cause and effect, from lower rates to more workers being hired.
What sounds good for y'all today?
I'll have 2 shredded chicken tacos.
And with the 2 tacos today, you get a free side of rice or beans.
Porque No Taqueria is a bright, bustling restaurant in Portland, Oregon, where patrons line up, sometimes out the front door, to order their food, tacos, rice bowls, Mexican soups, and salads. Brian Steelman is the owner. We're sitting in his new glass-enclosed patio dining room, which took 2.5 years of planning, permitting, and build-out.
It was quite expensive, and we have taken loans to do it.
So far, it's been worth it.
Our October, since we've opened this, has been just skyrocketed. It's by far the busiest October we've ever had.
Steelman says interest rates coming down will help him fund the renovation of his other taqueria in town. Plus,
we just recently expanded catering, and we are actually looking for a 3rd spot,
which could eventually lead him to hire more workers. There are sectors of the economy, like housing, where the Fed's cutting of short-term interest rates may have a quicker effect.
Private home builders in particular are dependent on the cost and availability of builder and developer loans from local and community banks.
Robert Dietz at the National Association of Home Builders says those loans have been running around 12 to 14%. He predicts they'll come down as low as 10%.
Lower interest rates on those loans will mean an increase in housing supply
and more demand for construction workers. But now let's throw a little water on this rate cuts firing up the economy and job market narrative. Because after the Fed cut rates in September, we got a really good jobs report, adding 254,000 new jobs, with the unemployment rate falling to 4.1%. And the Consumer Price Index rose 2.4% year over year, more than economists expected. Banking analyst Chris Stanley at Moody's Analytics says it's now less likely the Fed will cut rates again soon.
Either no more rate cuts for the remainder of the year or a much slower path to some of those lower rates than was anticipated is really the smart way to play.
Most analysts do anticipate rates will continue moving lower into 2025. And small and mid-sized businesses are waiting for that, says Joe Galvin at peer advisory firm Vistage.
It puts CEOs in a position to think about making investments and capturing an interest rate that's much better than what they're seeing today. To invest in new facilities, new equipment, automation.
All that new investment will eventually require new workers in construction, engineering, operations, sales. It's just going to take a while. I'm Mitchell Hartman for Marketplace.
On Wall Street today, a little grim, actually. Boeing, you've probably heard about. They reported that $6.2 billion quarterly hole this morning. McDonald's, they've got the food poisoning story. Starbucks down most of the day before bouncing back. Technology, forget about it. You know what did go up, though? Bond yields. We've been